Yeah, something like that. Will be probably Dust 514. So this is something that we got a lot of news out of their EVE Online convention that they had in Iceland.
Icelandic Box Social.
Yes, which I still regret not going to. I was invited, but it's kind of
what? You didn't go?
We got jobs here to do. I didn't want to miss the podcast.
Man, you gotta drop everything for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a whole week, and yes, I regret it. Well, anyway, a lot of news came out, and we were able to first really see Dust in action and how it's going to interact with EVE Online and that existing community. Sid cornered someone from the CCP team. They talked even more about it. We got to see how you start, like there's apparently the whole interactive lobby and you know the whole mechanics of the game and how it gets going. So, well, without further ado, let's Sid have that conversation. Dust 514 and CCP.
Okay, and I'm back in New York City here. I'm with David Reed from CCP Games, and we're here to talk Dust 514. If you haven't been keeping up, that's the PSN exclusive PS3 online massively multiplayer shooter from the creators of EVE Online. Welcome, David.
Thank you. You got it.
So, so this is the first time I've gone hands-on with Dust 514. I've been hearing a lot about it. You guys have been awesome. You've been on the PlayStation blog. It feels like a couple times a month, sort of dishing out info in bite-sized chunks, and I think now that I've played it, I understand why.
Great.
There is so much here. I think we could devote an entire month worth of podcasts to just talking about Dust 514. I was sort of stunned rolling through the menus, looking at the customization options, the different guns. I'm like a gun fanatic in these online shooters, and I'm always looking for ways to mod my gun or improve my gun or get a better gun, and man, I've never seen anything quite like this.
I mean, yeah, you're going to love it then, right? Because that's exactly the mechanic there. Much like in EVE Online, where we've had a very detailed skill system that has built up year over year over year, right? We have the same mechanic going on in Dust 514, except for it's tailored to the infantry soldier in the future, who is on the ground, different weapons, different armor, drop suits, different vehicles. And if you have a notion of, you know, I like being a heavy who takes a lot of punches and keeps going, but I'd rather not have that heavy machine gun that's a little slow to reload. I'd like to try a slightly different rifle. That's exactly how the customization plan works in Dust 514. You'll have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I got my hands on a bunch of the different character classes. I feel like there's 50 ways to start this, and there's 50 ways we could come at this, but I want to start from what the player sees first, which is this sort of captain's quarters thing.
Exactly.
And it surprised me. It's in third person. The game is a first-person shooter, but it surprised me to see a third-person camera angle. I felt like I was in kind of in a Mass Effect kind of thing, walking around, you know, gearing up, getting ready to deploy onto the online battlefield. So walk me through that captain's quarters kind of prelude to the actual combat.
You bet. So the captain's quarters in Dust 514 is analogous to, well, it's a mercenary quarters in Dust. It's a captain's quarters in EVE Online, and it's analogous to that same notion of, again, this is your private quarters where you'll be able to customize things the way you like. You'll be able to, you know, unlock, I imagine, cosmetic items, and you know, you want to be able to see yourself in them at times. And so those are the moments, really, when you're in the mercenaries' quarters or when you're out in the lobby, the war barge, which is where you proceed next. But from your mercenaries' quarters, you can get quickly into the marketplace. You can see the contracts that are available. You can kit your drop suit and fit it the way that you want to, and just master sort of the skill system and things that you've got there in a very quiet place before you head out into battle or head out into the social lobby. From the mercenaries' quarters, you do head out into the war barge, which is the basic social lobby where you get to overlook the planet that you're about to be fighting on, and you get to mingle with some of the other soldiers there. You and your friends can then look at, for example, a map of the battle that you're about to go on.
A very cool, like, kind of holographic sci-fi map, may I add.
Exactly.
And I was actually really impressed, because you go to a lot of different planets, you go to a lot of different settings as you're playing Dust 514. So, I mean, I have to sort of describe this. You're in this, it almost looks like kind of like a PlayStation Home type or an MMO type lobby.
Yeah.
And you're overlooking the planet you're getting ready to deploy on. It's looming sort of ominously in the view screen. It looks really cool. And then there's this detailed 3D holographic map that has all these sort of strategic points and stuff on it. I just thought that was a really cool touch. It's not something I see in a lot of online shooters, and there's definitely some fit and finish going on there. So.
Yeah, well, and you know, it sort of exemplifies a lot of what's going on with the strategic side of being in a shooter with Dust 514, right? It's not just about a bunch of people showing up and it's the same map every time, and you know where the choke points are and things like that. These are very big maps, right? It is running on the Unreal Engine, but we've extensively customized it to allow for much larger battlefields at play there. there. And the moment-to-moment gameplay is very much like a Battlefield multiplayer with a lot of different vehicles, a lot of different weapons, and a lot of different tactics that you're going to want to use to achieve a particular strategic objective. So as you look at that holographic map of the battle, for example, you'll see the hot spots, the choke points, and you and your buddies will be like, this time didn't work so well, let's try it this way. Put a sniper here, bring that vehicle in this way, big infantry assault front forward this way. Those are the kinds of things you'll be able to do, kind of like you're a sports captain on the chalkboard talking with your team. That sort of strategic element has always existed in shooters. We wanted to bring that to bear in a big way in Dust.
It was interesting, and so from there, of course, you deploy into the actual battle.
That's right.
And you sort of drop down on a planet. I don't know the name of the planet we were fighting on today.
I don't either.
But it was sort of an industrial facility, and,
That's right.
and you had a very simple, you just had basic team deathmatch, and that was the rules we were playing.
That's exactly right.
But I know it's not just team deathmatch; it's far from it.
So there's a lot more.
Tell me some of it, like what kinds of objectives am I going to be accomplishing here in the shootouts that we'll be having on the planet?
Yeah, well, there's a couple different things, right? Number one, there will be a lot of what are called, think about the standard control point sort of victory conditions that you see in a lot of first-person shooters, because in the end, you've got the EVE Online universe with thousands of solar systems, each of those solar systems with planets, tens of thousands of planets now, and each of those planets is rendered directly as the universe has told us, that EVE Online they are. Some of them are very terrestrial, some of them are more aquatic or gaseous. You're going to see different kinds of climates and different sorts of terrain that you're going to be fighting in ultimately. And when you do, you're going to realize that different sorts of weapons, different armor, different vehicles are the best ways to win in those sorts of environments. And when you go into these planets, you'll be capturing districts with those control points, right? There'll be different victory conditions. For example, we've shown videos in